Welcome to Surface. Surface is high-performance, salon-exclusive hair care that completely respects personal health and the earth. I'm Kelli Mason, and welcome to Surface. Today we're going to be working with the core haircutting system. We're going to be doing the Freedom haircut, which is focused off of long layers. Today we're going to be working with our Surface core haircutting system. In our core haircutting system, there's going to be 4 different zones. We're going to be working with our green zone, our black zone, our blue zone, and our 2 red zones. The haircut we're going to be working today is the Freedom haircut, which is based off of long layers. We're going to be starting off at the high point of the head, which is our black zone. We're going to be bringing that straight up and shattering away with our razor. And then we're going to be blending that into the green zone, which is going to create some progressive layers. Then we're going to drop that all down, take a ½ inch from all the green and black zones, and we're going to be connecting the dots down to our red and into our blue zone. Now that we've talked about the haircut a little bit, let's put it into practice. This is my model Morgan, and she's going to be my model for the Freedom haircut today. And we're going to be working with our perimeter first, which is going to be back behind the ears, parted from the high point of the head to the back of the ear on both sides. And she's already had some length established. She doesn't want to lose too much length. So we're going to actually start by pinching our sections, and we're going to get a nice shattered edge on the perimeter. So we're going to just go ahead and pinch the sections, and we're just going to shatter on both sides to get a really nice piecey perimeter line. So that just gives it a really nice point. So when it's dry, it'll be nice and fluid and flowing. And we're just going to take sections all the way across the perimeter and just shatter down on each side until you get the point that you're trying to achieve. And you can go back through and kind of detail where you're finding maybe there was a little bit more in other areas. So now we have a really nice, shattered, piecey perimeter line. Now that we've established our perimeter, we're going to go ahead and work into the black zone. To find the black zone, we're going to set our comb on top of our head to find the high point of the head. Where that comb lays level is where the high point is going to be. So then we part that off to behind our ear on each side. Then we're going to do some target parting. We're going to insert our comb and just drag that right over to our finger to get a really nice clean line. And we're just going to go ahead and push that out of the way and do the same on the opposite side. And this is going to create our black zone. So we're just going to separate that off, and we're going to take sections that are just about as wide as the razor, and we're just going to shatter that up. This is going to create the volume in our layers. And we want her layers to start right around about chin length. So we're going to kind of measure that out, bring it straight up, and just shatter that line. And we're going to keep working backwards in our black zone and just bringing it straight up to our guide. Here's our guide. And we're just going to shatter that right up. One more section. Finding our guide, there's our guide, shattering that right off. Now we're going to be working into our corners now, and this is where the layers are going to start to round. So we're going to want to take diagonal sections into our black zone, still in our black zone here, and we're going to bring that right up to meet our guide. Here's our guide, and we're going to just shatter that right off. And you're going to keep continuing in those diagonal sections until you get to the corner of your black zone here. Here's our guide, bring that right up, shattering it right off. And we're just going to keep combing this smooth. It's really important to keep nice control on the hair, keep it combed nice and smooth. Now that we've finished the black zone, our shattering, we're going to be moving into the green zone, which is going to be from the recession to the recession. And this is going to create our progressive layers forward. Now I'm right-handed, so I'm going to be always standing on the left-hand side of Morgan's head. And this is going to be easy for me to be creating our progressive layers from the left side to the right side. So I'm going to take a 1/2 inch section from our black zone and just comb that forward. And while we're working into the green zone, I'm going to always be standing on my left side since I'm right-handed, and I'm going to be progressing my layers from the left to the right in our green zone. We're going to continue taking our 1/2 inch sections all the way to the other side of the recession of the green zone. Bringing that straight up, pinching that, finding our guide. Here's our guide. And we're just going to lightly shatter right to the ends. And the reason we're leaving this corner and leaving the length here is we don't have any fringe yet in our front, so we want to have that length to work with later on. Take one more section here, right to the recession. Bring that up, shattering that away. So we've worked our progressive layers from our black zone into our green zone, and I've just taken out about a 1/4 inch section around the perimeter of the black and the green zone and clipped that away. And now we're just going to start kind of connecting the dots to our red and to our blue zone. And that's going to finish off our descending layers. So I'm just going to start over here, right into our red zone. And there's not going to be a whole lot of hair to cut off in this section, since the red zone tends to be a lot more sparse. So we're just going to find our guide. Here's our guide right here. And we're just going to shatter that way and down. So it's going to start to concave around her face. And we're just going to continue that in small sections into the other part of our red zone. We're just going to keep working our way around the back of the head. Shattering. Palm to palm, finding our guide. Here's our guide here. I'm just going to shatter that down the area. Now we've let down all of our layers. So we've connected our green zone and our black zone together to make progressive layers. And then we've also connected our black and our green zone down to our red zone and down into our blue zone, giving us descending layers. And Morgan is thinking she wants a little bit of a longer fringe, so we're going to give her something about right at her eye level to bring out her eyes. So we're going to bevel, find how deep we want our fringe. We're going to move that away. Find where we want our fringe to start, right about eye level. And we're going to insert our razor right underneath and just shatter that away. And we're going to bring that out to the ends. And we're going to just do the same thing on the other side to give it a little bit of symmetry. Finished our haircut. We've connected the black zone to the green zone, dropped that down, connected our green zone into our red and our black down into our blue, and then we finished it off with a nice face frame to highlight our eyes. We're going to go in ahead and blow dry her, and then we're going to do a little detailing. We're going to work with a pinwheel to do a little bit of an interior layer, and then we're also going to be doing a little bit of horizontal framing in the back for a little bit more volume. So now that we've dried Morgan's hair, we're going to go into some detailing, doing a pinwheel and then a little bit of horizontal framing. So we're just going to start right at her head part here. She has a deep side part, so we're just going to take a section right at the part. And we're just going to be working in a pinwheel motion. We're going to take our razor, find where the hair bends, and we're just going to lightly shatter right to the ends. Just taking out very little hair. And that's going to create some invisible layers that are going to give her a lot of volume when she styles her hair. So then we're going to go back into our black zone, and we're going to do a little bit of horizontal framing. So we're going to find that high point of the head, right where the green zone and the black zone meet. I'm just going to part that away. Nice and smooth. What we're doing here is kind of creating a foundation underneath the hair. We want to still leave the layers, the length, but we want to get a little bit of framing right underneath the layers there to help it give it a little more volume. And again, we're just going to take sections about as wide as the razor. Turn here so you can see this. And we're just going to kind of see where that hair bends back here. We're going to go in with our razor and just gently shatter that. So we're creating some short hairs underneath to support the long hairs. So now you can see we've created a nice foundation in Morgan's hair. So those layers have the opportunity to get a lot more volume underneath them. So you can see just by lightly fluffing it with my hands, you can see those shorter pieces pushing the longer pieces up. So we've gone through Morgan's haircut, the Freedom haircut with the long layers, and then we've connected our crown section, our black zone, to our green zone using progressive layers. And then we've attached that to the red zone with descending layers and also into the blue zone. Then we've dried her and we've given her some horizontal framing with our razor. And then also we've done a pinwheel so that she has a lot of volume throughout the crown. So when she's styling it at home, it's really easy and the haircut's working for her. Now that you've seen the core cutting system, you'll be able to utilize it in the salon and have a happy guest and have consistent haircuts every time.